everyone, welcome back to Shelly's shop. Today we're going to be doing some much overdue cleaning and organizing of the shop. This bench was spotless a week and a half ago. I did a four-wheel drive conversion off camera to a 72 Chevy, and this was the aftermath of that. So we're doing all this in order to make room to bring the 81 Sierra into our shop, and to make that truck run and drive. We got a transmission, we got a drive shaft, we got tires. We're going to see if we can drive this thing around the block legally, obviously. So stay tuned. So here we got it, our bench is cleaned. I know to a lot of y'all it's gonna look still messy, but this is the way I like it. I like my tools laid out here. The stuff along there is for other projects that are ongoing. And then the top of the bench, or sorry, top of the toolbox, I'm not happy with that either. It looks like crap, but it is what it is. Here it is, guys. This is the TH350 out of the 72 Chevy truck I converted to four-wheel drive. The motor is completely hooped, but I have no reason to believe that the transmission won't be any good. It is a gamble throwing it in the 81 Sierra and then seeing if it's any good, but I personally don't know how to test it other than looking at the ATF. If it's no good, I'll start over and go get another TH350. So we're gonna rip this one apart. I'm gonna take the torque converter and the flex plate and all the hardware off this one and install it on the back of the 81 Sierra that's sitting outside. We're putting that in the shop soon. All right, so we got our amazing tool that my wife bought me for, I believe it was my birthday this year, or maybe it was Christmas, I forget. She buys me a lot of tools and I appreciate every single one of them. This is, these bell housing bolts are 9/16. So by popping them off, this little guy should just slide apart, but with how corroded this is, it might be a bit of a trick. That was in there pretty loose. I will be reusing all this hardware so that I can keep it organized right in the back of our Bobcat. We already took the starter off this for the 81 Sierra. So if you're watching this, Nicole, I do appreciate all the tools you get me. It makes my life a heck of a lot easier. The reason why we're keeping this thing in the back of the Bobcat is because I'm gonna rip this thing over to the town wash and give it a rinse off so we're not working with this greasy, crappy old transmission. Okay, I'm gonna do something I don't like to do, but it might help in this scenario. When I was building my 67 C20, correction, my 67 C10 LS swapped, I broke an ear off doing this, like a punk. Okay. That's a good sign right there. Okay, we got some good movement here. And I believe it. Oh yeah. Would you look at that? Look at here. Move this out of the way. Crazy. All right. There we got a torque converter. doesn't have a lot of wear. And I don't see any rust. These lines are gonna be fighting me. Oh! Woohoo! There we go. I'm the best photographer ever. So just to show you all that I wasn't screwing around or just giving up on an engine for no reason. When I found this truck, the hood was bent up and it was half closed and it had no distributor in it and the carburetor was just open to the elements. And yeah, like all these open orifices were just kind of out there in the elements. And I thought I could salvage it. I put some time into this. I filled it up with, I filled the block up with diesel fuel. I put ATF in the cylinders, just trying to break it free. And it didn't want to move. It's the first time I'm putting a bar on it, mind you. I don't want to bend this flywheel because I need it. I could put more torque on it. Oh, yeah, I'll just end up breaking that, sorry, that, not flywheel, that flex plate. Yeah, we're gonna try to retain the torque converter and the flex plate for the 81 Sierra. Well, I got some bad news. I don't know how I didn't notice this before because I checked the fluid in the transmission while it was still in the truck. And when I got it out, I drained some out this tail section. But I think we got some water in here. That's half water, half ATF. I drained about 2 liters out of this thing and I didn't see any sign of water when I took it out of the truck. I'm not sure where to go with this now. All right, guys, so after looking at it a little bit more, I worked it through the gears, tried to spin it over off the input shaft. It's not moving whatsoever. I have next to no hope that this thing is actually gonna shift through the gears and spin. But I wanna pop the cover off here right now, have a look and see what the heck's going on. I think we all know. There was about a couple cups full of water came out of it, so I don't really know what that could do, but we're gonna find out here. I'm gonna order a big old side of goop. Oh yeah, that is pretty rancid. I think we have a good indication of why it didn't want to fire, or why it wouldn't turn. Oh, I got it to move. You know, it's actually not as bad as I was expecting. Look down in here, this is all, it's not that. I really don't know what I was expecting when we opened it up, but I don't know what to do. It is pitted. It was in there for a minute, but now that I got that, I got this thing to spin now. Huh. Got over some of the good stuff here. I mean, I've taken little 3-speed Signews that look worse than this. Put a few hours of just wiping them out. I got them to work. I don't know. I'm actually feeling like this thing might be worth trying to get it to go in the truck. So I'm gonna go over it with a brush, try to clean it up as best I can. I don't see any sign of rust anywhere really other than right here and here. Right there, and this crud. I'm gonna try to get all that out and see Like, that is pretty rancid looking, but it might actually be not that bad. I know I don't really like screwing around with these, but these automatics. My buddy Ricky and I, we tried to rebuild a 727 for his 68 Charger once. We never did get the car to, we never did finish that car, so we don't know how good of a job we got, but I wouldn't guess that it was a very good job. Well, I don't know, guys. Call me an optimistic person. Not many people would, but I think this transmission just might do it. I'm gonna just pop the filter off here and have a better look. I can see some gunk caught up behind it. That looked tremendously better than I had anticipated it looking. Oh yeah, look at that gob of goodness there. Let's have a better look, shall we? Here's what I'm seeing here. That's red. Not even that bad looking of fluid coming out, and all this white stuff was just sitting there. Like even the springs right there, not corroded over. Like it doesn't look overly bad. Like I was saying, I had it shifting through the gears. This could be a total waste of time. But if everything was easy, everyone would do it. Even the guy that I was about to buy a transmission off of said that I should chance it. You're back up on your perch now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean all this up, put it back together, clean my surface here, throw it back together, and then I'm gonna pressure wash this entire transmission, make it look a little bit more presentable. That's why I can put it in the back of the side-by-side. I'm gonna rip across town to the car wash, give it a spray. We got our pressure washer put away for the winter. So yeah, I'm gonna get on that. Probably take me a couple more hours. I like that truck in here tonight because it's getting down below freezing every night now. Back from the car wash, stopping at my buddy Tim's house. Gonna get dry by the fire. We're drenched. Just left my buddy Tim's, ripping across town. Got her all cleaned up. It started snowing on us here, so I gotta scramble to get that truck in the shop here. So. Just like that, bam, done. So here we got her. I'm gonna be ripping these lines off. I've been battling them every time I move the thing. They get caught up and all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure if they're any good or not. The vent, the tube that runs down from the carburetor down to here, it was rotten, so it doesn't make me feel good about these ones. Oh yeah, someone's been into this already. It's not necessarily a good sign. I'll have to investigate that a little bit further. actually. Leave those brass fittings in there, I say. Pop these ones out. Oh yeah. That's a good sign. So yeah, we gotta pop this pan off this, change out the gasket. I want to change the filter on it, make sure that it's no contaminants from the filter will be pulled back into the internals of the transmission. Like if there's any hope in heck that this thing's actually gonna work, I'd like to give it the best shot possible for, you know, $60 worth of equipment. Not equipment, $60 worth of materials. I think it's worth it. But if this thing is just a pile of crap, then we just wasted all that fluid and the oil filter. There. Get these things out. Put those under the truck, out of the way. And this guy right here, I think I'm gonna leave him on. He's not in the best of shape either, but does move. Looks like someone already tried to get in there and MacGyver him up some. All right. We'll be popping the pan off now. Did a not bad job washing it. This pan off, change out the filter. So guys, the engine won't turn over as I showed y'all already. So it's really stuck on there. I gotta get down in there and it's getting to be annoying. I might not show you the whole thing. There should be 3 bolts holding the torque converter to the flex plate. But once we get those off, it should be pretty easy. All right, let's pitter patter, I'll get on her. This is gonna break the engine for you, imagine. That'd be a good one. I have to call my old man to tell him. Son of a goose. Oh, this is gonna be nasty. Let's see it already. And that other flex plate on this truck is bent by the look of it. These aren't expensive, it's just I gotta leave the house to go get one. I live pretty far from town. Don't really see a scenario where this is going to be easy. Just thinking. Here. I'm going to pause y'all and I'll get back to you when I come up with a good plan. So here's what I got thinking about. The wrench I'm using, the one angle is too far into the block, the other one is into the flex plate. I'm going to straighten this one out. This is one of the spares I got, I don't know where. I'll try to straighten that out with the torch and see if that works. That doesn't look too bad to me. My old grandpa, he was a welder. He would do stuff, he'd be welding or whatnot, and he got so used to the heat on his hands, he would grab stuff that wouldn't burn them, but it'd be hot, and he'd hand it to someone. Before they would take it, he'd say, "Careful, that's heavy." And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you know, macho men, they grab it, drop it right away." And I thought it was really funny. He thought it was funny. Yeah. I think it's funny. All right, guys, I got some bad news. I tried to videotape me removing the torque converter off of the old engine, but I got stuck in a loop of me recording, thinking I was videotaping, and then me hitting stop, and then it would start recording. So he's got a bunch of footage of me moving around, putzing about. What I ended up doing was I got this wrench, straightened it out, but I was tightening it on like an idiot. So I accidentally started to strip the bolt on the torque converter a little bit. So then I went and got a socket, cut it off, welded it to, and put it the right way, and it worked. And I got all three off, and I had a little video showing me draining the torque converter. No water came out. The fluid didn't smell burnt. It was a little dirty, but not dirty in the sense of actual dirt, just wear. It still had a red hinge. It's still red, but dirty red. So I feel like that's a sign of a old but still working transmission. So now what I got going on is I put the torque converter up on the bench, and I'm gonna walk through everything we're about to do to it now. Okay, so I ended up picking a repair kit up. It's a NAPA part number 1-4888. It's got the rubber gasket in here. We do, if this transmission works well, we're going to be building, I like to put a shift kit into it. I already took off the cork gasket that was on the pan. I had to go around with a wire toothbrush and clean up the pan. This is the old filter here. And I don't know if you guys can pick that up or not. In there along here, there's flakes. And it looks like probably this is the factory filter to the motor, or to the transmission. So I'm not too concerned about that. Got the new gasket here with a built-in, and the new filter with a built-in gasket. I'm gonna go along and clean this edge up, install this, throw this back together. All right, so we got the transmission all reassembled. Now it's time to look at underneath the truck and get that old flex plate off so we can start installing this one. Guys, this is my first look underneath the truck, and I gotta say, it's not half bad. So I'm gonna flip you all around here if I can figure that out, and we're gonna have a gander at the undercarriage here. Welcome to the underside. That's the flex plate. I'm gonna confirm that it's bent or not. Like, there's the floor here. I'll zoom you all out a bit here. This is where I'm gonna be working for the next few hours. I'm sorry for the shoddy cameramanship here. The frame looks good. The underfloor looks good. Cross members all look good. The floor supports look good. Sorry, cab mounts. I don't see anything that looks terribly rotted yet. There's always time for that. Even the exhaust doesn't look terrible. I'm surprised this thing doesn't have dual exhaust on it. Yeah. Now I love screwing around with exhaust and transmissions, especially in that order. It looks like all this stuff's all intact. So that's the, I forget what that's for. That goes on the back of the transmission. I forget exactly what it does though. That's the reverse lights, I think. I'm not 100% sure what transmission came out of this truck. I feel like that might be a 700 R4 hookup. Got the transmission set down in the transmission jack now. I gotta slide it on their truck, position it. I took the dipstick tube out, ended up breaking the gasket on it. Luckily I have a gasket kit, so I have a new gasket on the dipstick, and I'll be putting some gasket maker on when I slide that on. I switched out the kickdown cable, or the over. I'm not sure if it's a kick down or not, but I switched out the cable with the one that came on the Sierra. The other one was a little hag. I strapped it down so it shouldn't get in the way. I switched out the flywheel. Correction, not a flywheel. I switched out the flex plate on the engine that's in the truck with the one that came off of this engine over here. And I pre-filled the torque converter. Slid it on, felt 2 thugs. That generally means that it's on there enough. I have to slide this onto the truck. I want to mark out on the flex plate where these bolts were from the factory so I can easily line it back up. And that should sum up what I'm about to do in the next probably 30-40 minutes. So we got her lined up. We got one bolt that I'm gonna start putting a little bit of tension to. And with any luck, we got her started. We got one dowel pin on this side. I haven't been over to the other side to check it, but we're starting to get transmission up into this truck. Got the torque converter bolts in, not torque converter, bell housing bolts in. Torque converter bolts are in and torque down. I got found the cross member. What a day I've had. Driving all over looking for a drive shaft, trying to figure out some wheels, tires. I think I got the tires figured out. Got some good ones to make it a roller, but I definitely don't have a drive shaft figured out. Went to the local pick and pull. It's about a 45-minute drive for me. Every single drive shaft in that place was bent, and I was looking at everything. I believe this truck had a one-piece drive shaft in it, but I haven't been able to find a single square body with a one-piece. So I don't really know what to do. I think I'm gonna end up putting a 2-piece in it. I'm gonna look a little harder to figure out if it actually came with a 2-piece or not. Don't know. You know what I probably should do? I should probably dig through that pile of crud in the back of this Sierra and figure out if the drive shaft's in the back. That's what I'm gonna do. So since the drive shaft's too short by 6 inches, I think the best course of action is to see if I got a 2-piece drive shaft kicking around that'll slide up in there. If not, I might be forced to switch out transmissions entirely to get the proper tail shaft. Just like that, bingo bango, it was removed. It wasn't that evil, it's 2 bolts. All right guys, I went and got the drive shaft router in. It's this one here. I know this isn't the right way of doing this, but I'm trying to, there's a lot of unknowns with this truck. Transmission could be hooped. I really don't know. Oh, buddy. Don't hit your thumb when you're doing this either. So I did cut down into it a little bit more than I should have. What I do now is I need this joint total length to be 30, sorry. From center here to the center there. When you're doing this, you want your ears to be off-centered each other. So you don't want it lined up like this. Ignore the U-joint. You want this section here to be like that, because this one's up and down. You want this one to be horizontal. And you need to be perfect. So I got a little bit of cleaning up work to do here. I'd like to get rid of some of that weld so I have a little more bite on it. I'm not professional at this. I've never done this before, but I think I can do it good enough to maybe drive this thing around the block. I'm gonna call that sea level now. Oops. That'll give us something to reference the other end of the pipe off of. Orientate, sorry, the other end of the pipe. I'm just shooting from the hip right now. Bet you there's somebody watching right now that knows exactly how to do it, and I'm doing exactly what you're supposed to not be doing. A lot nicer if I didn't have a U-joint in here. We have trained professionals that do this. But again, this is just a temporary thing. I do intend, if the truck is going to be a running driving truck when we're done with it, I will bring it and get a proper drive shaft made out. There we go. What I think I'm going to try to do now is, because that is not on there straight enough. All right, got that welded up. Still warm. Best would have been one consecutive weld, but I don't have that kind of hand stability to go around corners. But I think for what we're doing with it, it's going to be a-okay. Gasket is going to be pile, but it's my pile and I'm proud of it. Okay, we got our drive shaft all done. My phone died, so I had to charge it up, so I had to do all this off camera. There's where I welded all the way across. Let's ground that down to get it, ground it down so I could ground it while I welded it. Time has finally come to put some ATF in her. I got the transmission lines hooked up. I got half the drive shaft installed. I'm still waiting on the clamps that go over the back yoke to hold the U-joint in. So we're gonna start putting some ATF in her and see if I should go any further with this. Seems like a lot of goosing around to see if the transmission's even worth anything. I did pre-fill the T-case up to put as much in there as I could. All right, we got the fuel system hooked back up. Got ATF in here. I put some fuel in the carb. See if she'll fire off. Not bad for about a week. No idea what gear it's in. I tried to put it park, or maybe it was neutral. I think I tried to put it neutral. Nice. We got the drive shaft fully installed. Well, temporarily fully installed. We got a temporary mount for the hanger bearing here, which is rotted away. So we got a slip yoke here, which is from a factory 72 Chev, long box 2-wheel drive. You can see my stellar welds there. Got that all welded up. And then the reason why we didn't test drive this truck yesterday was we were waiting on these clips or caps. drive shaft sounds awesome. So I just got back from my buddy Ken's, who owns a welding shop here in town. And I had to go digging, but I found what I was looking for. I pulled this off the front end of a truck. Popping underneath the truck here, we're gonna slap this guy on and see what we gotta do now. So I'm gonna hop in the truck, see if it works its way through the gears. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, 2, 1. That's a good start. I'm gonna hop up in it. Oops, steering wheel popped off. Forgot about that speed quick release. All right, let's give this a shot. Oh yeah. Got my trusty key. Like a gear, neutral, or trying to drive. All right, feels like the brakes are holding. Set up. Not happy, but it's doing her. Second gear. That does not sound happy. And first gear. And brake. I don't know if you can see that, but it is pulling. So we're sitting in there, it's running. It's minus 5 degrees Celsius here. This interior, I keep talking about it, but it's pretty rancid. Brake light is on, probably because the proportion valve stuck. Horn works, windshield wipers work. Don't want to scratch the windshield. Heater blower's moving air. Look at my my friends here. And I think we had lights working when we did. Clicks right down. Brakes are still sticking. I haven't really messed with them at all. Ooh, that thing loves to bounce. I'm pretty sure it's a hanger bearing, but tell me what y'all think. Is it worth putting more time into? It runs good. It's quieting down every time we start it. The interior is just atrocious. Look at this baby purr. away. Still got a bit of a lift, but we haven't had it through many heat cycles. A week ago, this thing was nothing but a Hulk sitting in the field. We winched it up on the trailer, brought it home. Within a few hours, we had it running. Sourcing out some missing parts, and we got ourselves a running, driving truck. I'm not gonna try to tell you this thing could rip into the city and back, but I'm sure it'd make it around the block. It needs a proper drive shaft, and this thing will be on the road for real. The tires, the drive shaft, a proper tune-up, and we got ourselves a nice truck. Pretty happy. That's going to wrap up part 2 of the GMC Sierra. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part 3. Be coming up next week. And like always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to us. Cheers.